Southern trees, you know you've seen, they bear a strange fruit. Blood on the leaves and blood at the root. Black bodies swinging there in the southern breeze. Strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Oh my Lord, no, it's a pastoral scene. So beautiful, the vibrant South. The bulging eyes and the twisted mouth. The scent of magnolia is so fresh and so sweet, but it's mixed with the scent, the sudden smell of a burning flesh and the strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees.
Authenticity, awesome aura, noble.
Last, there's strange fruit now succumbing to the nitrogen gas. There's this strange fruit, it be glowing. Strange fruit getting hot. There's this strange fruit starts to cooking from a little electric shock. There's this strange fruit to take dancing, but this strange fruit, it don't sing. There's this strange fruit, you know, we know what we need. Here's what we need. Here's what we need. We need to lift our voice. We need to march in the street. We need to stand as one. We need to sing. The voices of hatred, they are so damn loud, but we can't speak up, we can't sing out, is what we need. God have mercy. We need you, we need me, we need everyone to see. God have mercy. God have mercy.
Well, here we are. We made it to Huntsville, and unfortunately we don't know if we need to be here yet, but we're here because we know we might need to be here. You can see folks are getting set up with our protest signs and whatever. This is the Walls unit right behind me where the executions take place. So it's hot, we're in the sun, and we still don't know as of 1 minute ago whether this execution is going to go forward. What we can surmise based on past experience is that somebody is writing a dissent to a decision one way or the other. this decision will sort of determine what direction the court is going to go in, how much more brutal or not they're going to get. Because if they allow this execution to go forward, it's sort of an indicator as what might happen in the Ham decision, which is we expect a ruling on at some point before the end of this session. And the Ham decision is all about, do we execute people with intellectual disabilities? We'll get more into all of that. My name is Abe Bonowitz with Death Penalty Action, and as usual, I give you our caveats that people who are speaking on this program are speaking for themselves, unless they're staff or board members of Death Penalty Action, speaking for themselves or their organizations. Also, this is a safe space for people who oppose the death penalty, so if there's any challenges or pro-death penalty stuff in the chats or in the comments on the social media channels, that will be dismissed without warning. So we're out here. It may be a couple of hours before we know what's going to go on. I've been sitting here. I've probably refreshed my computer hundreds of times today, and I'm going to do it again right now. Looking at the orders page.
We got news.
What's that?
We got news. The application to vacate the stay of execution presented to Justice Alito is granted. So they vacated the stay.
And that means that the execution is happening. Stay has been vacated. The stay has been vacated. So I could say some things that would not be well on a family channel. So let's do as we always do, and remember the victims to begin our program tonight. So we do remember the victims, but not with more killing. So please welcome Cantor Mike Zusman to help us bring us into that space.
Shalom Aleichem, peace unto you, Cantor Michael Zusman, with the thousands of members of L'chaim, which means to life, Jews Against the Death Penalty, project of Death Penalty Action. If you're watching this video, it means that a second execution is scheduled to take place on this day in the United States of America. The first was our pen pal for years in Oklahoma, Raymond Johnson, and now another pen pal who we've known, Edward Busby, in Texas, the 600th Texan execution of the modern era. We stand against all these lethal injections, which were first implemented by the Nazis, and always on the side of life, and always with the victims. And so, we remember the victims, the victim in this case. Please turn your attention now to the memory of Laura Lee Grogan Crane, born July 13th, 1926, and murdered January 30th, 2004. The daughter of Dr. Roy Lee Grogan and Verna Lee Clark Grogan married Meade Ballard Crane, and they had two daughters. Laura Lee was a visionary educator who believed her career to meeting the needs of children with learning differences. She devoted her career to meeting the needs of children with learning differences. Before learning disabilities were widely understood, she led the way in informing educators about those conditions and developed a nationally recognized reading program for learning disabled students. She trained a generation of teachers to work with children with special needs, preparing them to teach and to make a positive impact on children's lives. To many, Laura Lee Crane personified Starpoint School, and as its principal for 2 decades, she set the bar for achievement high for the children, teachers, and herself. She recognized the potential of the children. She gave them the tools with which to succeed, taught teachers how to reach struggling students, counseled and encouraged parents, always saw the worth in a child, and as a parent noted, quote, she could get children to do things no one else could get them to do. And in the words of a colleague, Quote, for Laura Lee, the children always came first. I'm going to offer this memorial prayer now for Laura Lee Grogan Crane, of blessed memory. I ask you, no matter what your background, secular, spiritual, religious, turn your energy to her. I'll offer this from my own Jewish tradition. It's a prayer that asks that her soul be bound up in the bond of life everlasting. תחת כנפי השכינה, למעלות קדושים וטהורים כזאת רק ימזהירים את נשמת Laura Lee Grogan Crane, שהלכה לעולמה בגן עדן תהא מנוחתה, ענווה לרחמים אסתיריה בסתר כנפיך לעולמים. וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתה, אדוני הוא נחלתה, ידוח בשלום על משכבה. ונאמר, 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 Zichrona Livracha, may the abiding spirit of Laura Lee Grogan Crane be an everlasting blessing, and may her neshama, her spirit, be a loving guide for all the children she cared for, the people she knew, the people who loved her, and all of us. May her loved ones be comforted among all the mourners of the world, and may no more blood be shed in her name, which is sacred. May all the killings end. Amen. May she rest in peace.
Thank you, Cantor Zusman. Well, people are gathering here. Alan, do we have the video? Actually, we should probably hear from Janet at this point, and then let's hear from Lillian, Eddie's pen friend, one of them. So go ahead and Janet, why don't you take it away, and Al, you can set up that other video for Lillian and play that when Janet is finished.
Thanks, Abe. Hello, everybody. Some of you might have been on the earlier Zoom vigil today, but for those of you who weren't, my name's Janet Walsh. I'm a Christian believer. I live near Manchester in the United Kingdom. Thankfully, it's over 60 years now since the last executions were carried out here in the UK, and the death penalty was abolished in 1969. Jesus has filled my heart with compassion for all those on death row in the USA. So I'm standing here with you all now in vigil today, and this is my prayer for Edward Busby. Some verses from Psalm 16. I will praise the Lord who counsels me. Even at night my heart instructs me. I have set the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand. I shall not be shaken. Father God, we lift Edward Busby before you now, acknowledging the wrong that he did, but thankful that Jesus came with a message of love, of mercy, and of forgiveness, and making it clear that none of us are without sin, and none of us have the right to take the life of another. Holy Spirit, may your mighty and compassionate power be upon Edward now. May he know the transforming and healing words of the gospel truth, so that he can be set free from all fear, and for your peace to be upon him. I pray, O God, that out of your glorious riches you will give strength to Edward as he stares death in the face and approaches his final moments here on earth. I pray that you are dwelling in his heart, and that he will know how wide and long and high and deep is your love for him, a love that surpasses all human understanding. As we too are overwhelmed with sadness at this life about to be taken, we ask you, Heavenly Father, to help Edward's family and friends through these difficult days and weeks ahead. Give them your immeasurable strength, we pray, as they will be grieving for their loved one. To Governor Greg Abbott, I remind you that it says in God's words that we are not to be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. So today, we ask you, Holy Spirit, to change the heart of Governor Abbott from one that is like stone to one that is filled with compassion for all those under sentence of death. I thank and praise you, O Lord God, for everyone who has been campaigning to try to stop Edward's execution. I speak a special blessing upon each and every one, and ask you to continue to help and guide us as we press on towards the goal of no more executions. I lift all these prayers up to you now, O God, in the mighty and precious name of your Son. Amen.
Thank you, Janet.
Okay, well, good morning, Lillian, and so thank you very much for making time to be together with me and have this conversation so we can get to know Eddie. Is it Eddie that he goes by? Eddie Busby.
Well, I call him Eddie Lee. He's called Eddie Lee inside, behind walls. And I call him Edward Eddie Lee. And it's my pleasure because I regret so much not to be able to go for medical reason. I mean, so much to me, it's really suffering not to be able to go. Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of traveling to do,
Yeah.
and we want to make sure that that people get to know a little bit about Eddie and a little bit about how you came to know him. So let's start there. You're part of the board of LifeSpark, one of the leading organizations that matches up pen friends. And is that how you met him?
Yes, in fact, yes. So he's one of my pen friends that I got from LifeSpark. So yes, we do make connection between people who would like to write to someone on death row in United States and people who would like to receive letters. So yeah, so we make connection, but LifeSpark is also movement against the death penalty. So it's also an abolition movement.
Yes.
And
And
we
how,
are part of the World Coalition Against the Death Penalty.
that's terrific. I've been a fan of LifeSpark for a long time. How long have you been writing to Eddie?
I think I began in something, it's 2013 or 2014.
And you've been to visit him.
Yes, many times. I have been to visit him many times.
Well, I want to share a photograph of the two of you and ask you to share a little bit about Eddie and what would you want people to know about him and what would he want people to know about you or about himself, I mean.
Well, I even asked him what he wanted, and he said it was up to me. He didn't want to say, but I'm going to read after a little of a last letter he wrote. And okay, first of all, he's really big. So, for example, when he comes, he has to come through this great door, and always he massages his wrists because he says they need two pairs of handcuffs to go around, because he's really big. He takes the whole space, and he likes to eat. So he likes to eat food that is strong. For example, everything pepper, jalapenos, and also beef jerky. And he explained to me a lot of things about peppers, especially jalapenos, and also where I could eat the best tacos, all of this, yeah. So visits were fun also around food because for him it was important to choose what he likes and to know what is in the machine, for example, so that for me it was difficult, especially at the beginning. Later, not anymore, but at the beginning, it's like, I don't know what he's talking about because we don't have the same food here, of course. So it's like in Europe, So it's like you say this, where is it? Yeah.
So he likes spicy food and
He likes very spicy food, yeah.
very
Yeah.
good. Okay,
And he likes to eat. For him, it's important to eat, yeah.
sure. So and in terms of his just how he's feeling the last time you've communicated with him about the situation.
Okay, so I can tell you a little bit about this. So, of course, when I heard about the date, I was shocked, and I was shocked for days, more than days. And then, I don't want to be the one that he needs to lift up. I want to be the one that that is lifting him up, And so, but I could not help to be a little worried. And so he wrote, can I read?
Yes,
It's
please.
part of his letter to me. I mean, one of his texts and his latest. Why are you in so much pain over me? Don't you know that I'm a child of the Most High God? It's something about the name Jesus. Just praise Jesus and know and believe the man cannot touch one of the chosen of God unless it's willed by God. And if this what he has willed for me, I look to it as what God has planned, and let not what God has planned for me be a pain unto you. Cause if it's not his plan for me, it will not go forth. Yeah. So he wishes me not to trouble my heart because God knows. And I must say that amazingly, after I received this message, my heart got much lighter, much lighter.
So that
I'm still sad, but it's not the same as before when I was kind of crushed.
well, that is actually quite a beautiful sentiment and a beautiful message and a gift really that he gave to you and to
Yeah,
all of us.
yeah.
I mean, I will say that I often feel like in many ways an execution for the person being killed is a release from the horror and the hell of death row. And I know it's not what everybody wants, and certainly it's not the best way to go. But if you're going to die in prison or be killed, I'm not advocating for anything, but I just feel like, especially if it's going to happen, then that seems to be the best attitude to approach it from.
But and it seems, but because I have other pen friends in United States on death row, and I have seen others being executed, and yeah, and so it's like Eddie got a date before, and he had a stay in 2020, I think it was, and so he had already prepared, right? So it's like all these years to prepare for what is coming up. So I guess one can prepare in different ways, and it's he got closer and closer to God. Yeah.
Well, good for him. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the people that are watching the vigil now? What will you plan to be doing at the time? I know it's going to be in the middle of the night for you. You live in
Well, I don't
Spain.
think I'm going to sleep, but what I do at vigils of people that I am closer to, even if I don't write to them, often I write to a friend behind bars. So I pray, I send love. I have been witness to execution, and I found that the most important and maybe helpful is to send love. Even through the air, I will send love and also pray that it goes without pain if it has to go, which I don't know, of course, until last minute. And then I will listen to sacred music and, of course, to the Valley of Death. What is this song, Abe?
The 23rd Psalm.
Yeah, that is beautiful. So, yeah. Mm.
Okay. Well,
So I'm going to pray mainly and send love, just send love all the time. Yeah,
that is beautiful, and that's what we're all doing when we
yeah.
gather on these vigils, and we're recording this earlier. Of course, I'm planning to be outside the prison. We'll see how that goes, but thank you. Before you go now, I want to invite you to just tell us a little bit about LifeSpark and the work that you all do, and how people can connect, and what it means to you.
Okay, so even with a tablet these days, with people having tablet these days, a human connection outside is very important for different reasons. One reason that is, I think, very important is that usually people outside write to the person who has a death sentence as a human being, not as necessarily not as a monster, because I think prison tend to make people believe they are monsters. So it's very important to show their humanity too. And so when we write about our daily life, ask about daily lives or the past or whatever, we consider these people as human beings. And that is very important for them and for us too, and for the world, because they are human beings. What is done at an execution is really kill a person. And this is contrary, at least to my values and to the values of many people. So in LifeSpark, what we do is like we receive the request from people behind bars on their floor to receive a pen pal. And then we have a list of people who would like to write to people inside prison. And we have a fee at LifeSpark of $50 a year. And this fee, we all are volunteer. I'm on the board and everything is volunteer work. But this fee is used to give back to movements that fight the death penalty in United States, or even to defend, like the Texas Defender Service. So we try to, there are a number of organizations, we give money to them. Yeah, so that's how the fee is used. So it's not for our expenses at all. So yeah, but it has a little fee. And we provide a service which is to help people to connect, sometimes to send money if they want to, or even for the tablet from Europe, it's not so easy. And when they change from one provider to the other, then it's complicated. And so we help people with that too. And we organize also like meetings if people are like need the support, and so this is it. And on the other side, we really do things we organize.
Let's go
We
ahead and
are
pause the
part
video
of
here.
movements to.
And just wanted to take a moment to, we'll finish with Liliane in a little while. But Rob Dunham is here with the Death Penalty Policy Project. Welcome, Rob. And we've got some, I mean, this is just a terrible harbinger for the future, it would seem. Fill us in, please. And thanks for joining us.
The United States Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit has long been considered the most extreme, the most right-wing circuit federal appeals court in the United States. The Fifth Circuit granted a stay of execution in this case. The United States Supreme Court earlier today, in a partisan 6-3 vote, lifted that stay. When you're talking about a situation that was so extreme that the most conservative federal appeals court in the United States decided that a pause was necessary to consider the issues in the case. When you see that and you see the United States Supreme Court lifting that stay, it gives you a sense of how extremist this United States Supreme Court now is. I want to read you the entirety of Justice Jackson's dissent from the order lifting the stay of execution. It's not very long, but it's very powerful and it's very accurate. Edward Busby's expert concluded that Busby is intellectually disabled. Texas's expert agreed. Recognizing the constitutional implications of that assessment, Texas joined Busby in asking the Texas courts to find Busby ineligible for execution. After the Texas courts refused, Texas changed its mind, opting to proceed with the execution it once tried to abandon. The Fifth Circuit then temporarily stayed the execution. This was a modest, responsible step taken to allow that court to determine whether Busby is entitled to habeas relief before it is too late. Today, the court finds itself unable to tolerate even a brief delay. Lifting the Fifth Circuit stay, the court grants emergency relief to ensure that Texas's current inclination that it must execute Busby tonight wins out over its former one that it could not execute Busby at all. In capital cases, we rarely intervene to preserve life. I cannot understand the court's rush to extinguish it, much less in the circumstances of this case. With respect, I dissent. You know, when I became a lawyer, I took an oath to follow the Constitution. I believed in the court system as a critical protection for constitutional rights. I believed that the Constitution meant something. I believed that the courts were there for the purpose of doing the right thing. 3 years ago, I was in Germany for the Eighth World Congress Against the Death Penalty. And when I was there, I took a side trip to one of the museums in Germany that talked about the rise of the Nazis. And when the Nazis rose, they did not amend, they did not eliminate, they did not alter the text of the Weimar Republic's constitution. They simply found judges who wouldn't enforce it. And then they found prosecutors who would enforce it, well, enforce might be the wrong word, who would apply the laws so as to oppress political opposition. We're seeing a lot of that happening in the United States right now. And I'm not saying that we are going to end up like Nazi Germany, but I'm saying it is time that we stand up. And it is time that we understand what's going on. And it's time that we recognize and say out loud that this court lacks legitimacy and that the actions of the Department of Justice in the United States these days are not the actions of a legitimate prosecuting entity. They're not the actions of an entity that's interested in enforcing the law. These people have taken oaths and they have completely not just ignored them, but vaporized them. So today we have a case where the state admits that it has no basis to execute an individual, that this person cannot be constitutionally executed, that this person is constitutionally exempt from execution, and they're going to kill him. And the United States Supreme Court says, we don't care. I think you can tell that that I find this extraordinarily offensive. And as someone who's been dedicated for my entire professional career to trying to preserve the rule of law, seeing what this court has become sickens me. And that's my message for today.
Bob, we're sitting out here outside the prison, and there's barely anybody here because most people heard there was a stay and they said, we don't need to go. You can see on the other day, last week, the last execution, there were a few dozen people here, which is actually pretty good for Huntsville. There's also demonstrations happening in Dallas and San Antonio and Austin and probably a few other places. But it's outrageous. It's outrageous, the execution this morning in Oklahoma. It's outrageous that this is the 600th Texas execution since 1982. And are we any safer for it? No. In fact, there's a new report out that I saw. I'm not even sure who put it out about deterrence and the myth of deterrence. But it's... The question is, what do we do? And the answer, my answer, is that we keep shining a spotlight. We keep telling people. I went over to the Exxon station that's right over here to use the bathroom and get a bottle of water before I came out. And they knew that they were surprised. Wait, you guys are here? I thought the execution was called off. But they were aware of the intellectual disability issue. This is the gas station attendant here in Huntsville. It's right, literally 50 yards that way. The prison is 50 yards this way. And, we're doing our job to make sure people know this is happening. But we get to do a better job of holding politicians accountable. And God willing, that's coming. Because people can't stand for this all this time.
Nations fall apart when their courts don't enforce the law. And they fall apart when the laws are used as a means of oppression as opposed to means of doing justice. I think that this is an appropriate type of execution for Texas's 600th, because it illustrates just how not absurd but obnoxious the death penalty system actually is. If you're going to have a symbolic representation of what the death penalty is all about, what the 600 executions in Texas have all been about, what better way of showing how badly this system works than a case in which the state itself acknowledges that there is no legitimate basis for carrying out the execution, and then changes its mind when the state court, whose job is to enforce the Constitution, refuses to do so. And then when another court says, hold on, let's do the right thing, let's at least take a look at it, the Attorney General of the state of Texas says, we don't want anyone to look at it. We don't give a damn whether it's constitutional. We don't give a damn whether it's legal. What we want to do is just kill somebody, and we want to kill them now. That's what this system is about. That's what this system has become. That's why the death penalty has no place in a democratic society. And this is ample proof that you cannot trust the government with choices about who should live and who should die. And you cannot trust the government to create a process that will fix things. Because when you have bad people in positions of power and bad people in positions of authority, they will not do the right thing. It doesn't matter what the rules are. They will not do it. And that's what this United States Supreme Court has become. And that's what this United States Supreme Court has done.
And I'm going to say that this is a reason why we need to add more emphasis to our demonstrations, more emphasis to our public education, and continue to use these kinds of circumstances to build people's attention, to make people aware, and not just that, give them something to do, something tangible to do. What are the tangible things? Make sure your legislator knows where you stand. Create more visibility for our movement. When our friend, the gas station attendant, said, "Oh my gosh, it's just another murder," I was able to take off my button and give it to him, and now we've got a guy in Huntsville wearing a button that says "Stop Executions." And we need more of that. Rob, what are your colleagues in the legal community thinking, doing, saying as we watch this? I mean, David and Jeff, the lawyers in this case, are two of the best criminal defense attorneys you could ever hope for. And today, their efforts didn't matter. Actually, let me rephrase that. Their efforts mattered tremendously, but we're up against this wall of right-wing fascism. We don't care. We're going to do whatever we want. What are people saying in the legal community?
Well, when people who are supportive of court systems and supportive of the process say the things that I say, I think that tells you what it is. I have been, for my entire career, a supporter of the legal process. I believed in the system. And when I go into court today, or now, I still have to believe when I'm in the courtroom that this is the opportunity that I have, and this is the location in which it can happen, to do something that the law requires. That this is a place where you can get a remedy for a wrong. And this is a place where you can do justice and undo injustice. If you are a lawyer and you are involved in the process, you have to believe that. But now when I do that, I will take that belief and I will try to get justice in the courtroom where I am arguing. But I and my colleagues know full well that whether the Constitution gets enforced will depend upon the attitude and the predisposition of the judge who is in front of me, and will be at the mercy of what some other court who doesn't share the commitment to the rule of law and instead wants to substitute its political beliefs and just show that it has power. Well, we will remain committed to the process because that's the only way that we can get justice for some of our clients. But we'll go in there with our eyes wide open, understanding that what's right will not necessarily prevail. And even if we win in a lower court, what's wrong may have the ultimate say. You know, as things happen, strange things happen on the same day, right? We have two executions today, both highly questionable. And also today, Richard Glossop, who had 9 death warrants and had 3 last meals and is unquestionably innocent, he got bail. After 29 years, Richard Glossop has a chance to be free pending trial. And Mr. Glossop has a chance to reclaim his life. So even when horrible things happen, there are chances in individual cases for the right thing to happen. So what do lawyers think? That's what they think. And when I teach lawyers in training sessions, what I consider to be the 3 most important rules in capital defense representation, here's what I tell them. You have to be smarter than they are. You have to work harder than they do. And you have to want your client alive more than they want him dead. And that's the attitude that good defense lawyers are going to continue to have against what are seemingly insurmountable odds.
Thank you, Rob. Let me just set the scene here for folks. You can see we've got folks are gathered over here. We can hear, I don't know if you can hear the microphone, Gloria Ruback is there with the diatribe that she's always giving people about haranguing whoever can hear, the prison workers and anybody else that's here, about the problems with the death penalty, as is appropriate. We must be angry, and we must be clear, and we must use the language that is emphatic, I think, sometimes. So that's happening right here. And over here, for those who've never been a part of one of these before, this is the Huntsville unit, also known as the Walls unit for obvious reasons. And at some point, we're going to see, let me turn this a little bit. There we go. You'll see this is this building over here is an administrative building, and we'll see the witnesses cross the road to go into the prison through that front door that's right there over the middle barricade. And that's how we know that the execution is going to proceed. The way these have been going for the last year or so is it seems like it goes until about 6:50, 6:55 before people come out. So it's not like in Florida or Oklahoma the time of death was 10:12 this morning. It's not like they're in a rush. Once their rush is over, now their rush to kill allows them to relax and slow it down and do what they're going to do. So we're on the watch for the witnesses to cross over. That's sort of the indicator, and then we'll be out here. Rob, I know you've got a lot of other work. I welcome you, and I hope you'll stick around as long as you can. Is there anything further that you'd like to add at this point?
Well, death row is now below 2,000. Fewer death sentences are being imposed than at almost any other time in the modern history of the U.S. death penalty. The death penalty is not sustaining itself with new sentences replacing the people who are coming off of death row. And even though we are seeing a significant number of executions, they're nothing like what we saw in the 1990s and the turn of the century. And the big decline in death row, people may think it's as a result of executions. It's not. In the 25 years that death row has had the really precipitous decline from 3,700 now down to under 2,000, executions have accounted for only 1/3 of the removals from death row. The main cause of the decline of the death penalty is that cases that had been unconstitutionally imposed, death sentences that had been unconstitutionally imposed, have been overturned in the courts and then not reimposed afterwards. So in fact, the greatest cause of the death penalty decline is the fact that even when prosecutors try to impose it, they cannot do so in a way that is constitutionally fair. The death penalty is dying of its own accord, and part of the consequences of that is that the people who want it to stay alive are engaging in more and more extreme conduct in doing so. So what we're seeing is horrible, but the public is with us, and we just have to, as I've said a number of times, we just have to get to the other side of this. When we do, because of how extreme and extraordinary and inhumane what the current court is doing, when we get to the other side of it, we'll be closer to abolition than we were coming into this.
Rob, there's somebody was just commenting that that was Justice Ketanji Brown, right?
Correct.
Did Sotomayor dissent as well, or sign on, or?
Yeah, Justice Sotomayor joined the dissent. Justice Kagan dissented, but did not join the opinion.
Got it. Wow. You want to say a few words?
I'm too tired to be a delegate.
Okay, we've got a few people that are here that are at a loss for words. I think we all are in this moment, just because it just doesn't seem like justice exists in the country today. But that is what makes it the most important, that we all keep standing up and keep showing up. So Lauren is here from Rehumanize International. Welcome and thank you for joining us, and I want to give you a moment to bring us on board with Rehumanize International and any thoughts that you have in the situation. Welcome.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm really sad to be here again this evening. After earlier today we were in Oklahoma, joining you in Oklahoma, and now we're back, and thought that we might not have this execution, but here it comes coming forward. So if you don't know me, I'm Lauren. I represent Rehumanize International. We are a group that opposes all forms of aggressive violence, including the death penalty. Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on this, I think, as we all do. The first thing is just how utterly capricious this execution is. The fact that the state tried itself to pause it, then went back and said, no, we want it. The filing that the Attorney General for Texas submitted to the Supreme Court was saying, like, hey, you know, like, I know you've got this Ham versus Smith thing going on, but it doesn't really apply to us, which again is just so capricious because the Supreme Court is holding on this ruling that would materially affect this case, but since it hasn't yet ruled, then we're going to allow a man to die when he could have gotten relief from that if it had been 2 weeks later. It's, again, it's, I understand we have the system, but like Rob, it very much strikes me as one where all reasonable checks and balances have just gone out the window, and we are just unwilling to pause for anything. And so that was one thought. The other was, once again, we are dealing with a case out of Tarrant County, which is where I am from. I went to Arlington High in Arlington and Tarrant County. I still have 817 phone number. But I want to give you some statistics about Tarrant County that are just very illuminating. First of all, Tarrant is one of the top 3 counties in the state of Texas for issuing the death penalty, the other being Harris, which is Houston, and Dallas County. However, Tarrant County has only 7% of the state's population, but has nearly a quarter of all death penalty trials. Also, in Tarrant County, there have been 13 death penalty cases since 2012, and of those 13, 12 were a person of color who was sentenced to death, which I do not think is incidental. And so I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about Tarrant County, thinking about the Supreme Court, but also thinking about this issue of someone who is profoundly mentally disabled. And any testing, I, again, looked at what we saw. It was at ICQ around 70, a reading level of 4th grade. We know what this means. And yet, even with the state allowing that, even if acknowledging that, they still push for this execution to go forward. And I ask, who's being served by this? Who is being served by executing mentally disabled people in our society, especially when there's a pending Supreme Court case that is just at the whim of, you know, the calendar of the courts, and that's between life and death. I can't find meaning in it. And I'm glad to have you all here trying to grapple with me with it today.
Hey, thank you, Rob. I saw your note that you've got to get to work. So thank you for showing up and bringing us your words of wisdom and your clear frustration with the moment that we're in. Thank you.
Thank you, Abe. And I'll be thinking about you and everyone on this Zoom as the night goes on.
Check back if you want to. At
Sure.
some point, we'll be on probably for another hour or so. So thank you. Ali, you had something?
Yeah, I just saw your note about Glossop being free, and I just wanted to acknowledge that this is just like a really bizarre space to be in, where on one hand, I don't want to rank cases in terms of severity or how they impact me, but I know that certain cases impact me more so than other cases, and just the insanity of the situation with Edward Busby is a case that has impacted me more than others. But then also being in this space where there's like this insanely good news and like you want to celebrate, it's just like weird to be feeling both extremes at the same time. Um, I mean, I don't have much to say about Edward's case without like probably getting this video taken down, so I will refrain from that. But I'm just enraged by what's going on today. It is like I can't even comprehend it. I know we've seen situations like this over and over, but I don't know. I feel like things are getting worse, and I know that I think that just because these cases are getting more and more unhinged, and I wrote about this in this week's newsletter for DPA. I mean, I really believe this is the system just trying to hang on to everything it has left, but it knows that it's failing and it's going down, and it's just basically like trying to pull everybody on a sinking ship that it can. And I really hope that that is correct, and that this ship is sinking and it'll be on the bottom of the ocean very soon. I just hope that not so many people have to be trapped inside of it as it goes down.
Thank you, Ali. In a moment, I want to introduce my friend Thad Crouch here, but first, let's just take a moment to, we're waiting for. It's right at 6 o'clock. This is the time of execution, but we're still waiting for the witnesses to cross. Let me show you that. So this is the scene here. You can see, and it looks like officers are gathering. On the other side, you can see them right. Well, it's hard to. Let's see if I can. That doesn't matter. Need to figure out a way to do a pointer in these things. But the point is that people will be crossing this road here and going into the prison through that door. And at that point, we'll know that the execution is that they're getting ready to actually do this. So what I'd like to do before we hear from Thad is finish up the video from Lillian Edwards' pen friend from Sweden and Spain. She lives in Spain. But can we finish up that video, Ali?
This end of June, beginning of July is a World Congress Against the Death Penalty in Paris, and we have two people, one person who was exonerated in Pennsylvania, and a member of LifeSpark was writing to him, and also a friend of mine in California who is on death row. Both are in the cultural program. Daniel Green is going to go and give a talk. And Johnny Miles in California, we are showing his collages. So this is also like a little part of the committee of the World Coalition organizing the World Day Against the Death Penalty, which is October 10th.
Oh, you're frozen up. But can you hear me still? Well, there's Lillian, and thank you so much for bringing us into the world of. Oh, there you are. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, you froze up for a moment, but we're. I just can't thank you enough for giving us some time today, and so that we can share a bit more about Eddie and who he is to you, if it comes down to this execution. So thank you.
If I can say a last thing about Eddie. So first of all, no, I tell you thank you after. But first of all, I wanted to say that his main concern with me always was that I'm safe. And so he had this idea that when he would come out, he would drive me around, because I drive from place to place to visit people. So he would drive me around so I could be safe. So it shows that he felt that the society was not so safe, right? So yeah, he wanted me to be safe. And then I wanted to thank you, Abe, for all what you do at death penalty action, and yourself also, and also this opportunity, and ask everybody to send love to all the people who are involved, and also to Eddie if it has to come there. So I'm kind of joyous, but I won't be. I won't be so joyous. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And
Thank
just
you.
just before we go, I just want to invite you to. What is your native language? Is it Spanish or something? You're from where?
No, I'm from Switzerland. I
That's what I
speak
thought.
French. French. French is my native language.
And you live in Spain, but so just could you give us a minute of about Eddie and about LifeSpark in French, so that the people that are watching who are French speakers could hear it in their own native language. And we have a lot of people from Europe that participate in these things, so please greet them for us.
Ok. Bonjour d'être venu. Merci beaucoup. Et si vous êtes là, s'il vous plaît, envoyez beaucoup d'amour à Eddie. Et envoyez-lui aussi de l'amour et que tout se passe bien. Qu'il reste près de Dieu comme il le désire, et qu'il reste près de Dieu à tout moment, et que ça se passe bien si ça doit se passer. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. Merci.
Thank you. Thank you. And we send you our love as well. And
Thank you.
hopefully on Thursday night, none of us are having to worry about this. Right now, as we are talking, Eddie has a stay from the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. We don't know if that's going to get held, if the state could overturn it or could seek to overturn it, and then we'll see what happens. Who knows with this U.S. Supreme Court?
Yeah.
Who knows with the
Hopefully.
government?
I
But we're
hope.
going to try. We're going to try. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to introduce Thad Crouch, who we met in Austin the other day. He came in, was part of the press conference with Pax Christi USA in Texas and the Consistent Life Network. And Thad is, I said, hey, what are you doing the next few days? And he was trying to pack to move. And I said, well, we're going to Oklahoma and then back to Texas. Do you want to come? And he said, yes. So Thad, join in.
Thank you.
Oh, hold on, he's going to go and then you get to go.
Thank you, Abe. Thanks, everyone. While we're in front of the Texas State Capitol, I guess it's 2 days ago now. It's been a lot. I have the things that I say for the public about the death penalty, and Abe is constantly talking to me about speaking from my heart, and over these last few days, there's been a lot of things from my heart to ponder. We had lunch yesterday. It seems like 3 days ago. We had lunch yesterday with a woman whose father was murdered, who pled with the Oklahoma governor not to execute the murderer because the prosecutor or somebody told her that her testimony in the murder trial is what led to this guy getting the death penalty, and she didn't want that, and some of her siblings haven't spoken to her for years because of that, and earlier today in Oklahoma, we were there outside the prison when Ramsey was executed, and one of his pen pals, Ebony, who became friends with him, she was supposed to be a witness in the chamber, and she never heard back, and she had to write and finally go, oh, you didn't hear back because you were denied, and they didn't communicate that in time for her, and it was hard for her and Ramsey, and there was a moment after that I just held her as she cried and cried and cried. And when we packed up to leave, I went to a convenience store to buy some electrolytes to come here to Huntsville in Texas, and this woman behind the counter says, "You know, you're never going to end this. It's not ever going to end." And I said,
Gary.
"We Roe ended, slavery ended, legalized apartheid in South Africa ended. The Berlin Wall has come down." And she said, "Well, you know, what he did was he killed a child and he deserves to die." And I agree that what he did was horrendous. And you know, I've been talking about, you know, some of the good qualities in the way that some of these folks on death row transform. And in the end, it's whether they transform or not, it's you know, their human life has value. But what I was thinking about was, you know, this woman in this convenience store, and I was like, what could I have said to her, you know, and here's what I'm thinking about these last couple of days, because as I learn more and more about how when we send these things to appeals in the Supreme Court, it's often not about the merits of the case. It's about all these little procedures, you know, where the T's crossed and the I's dotted, and this legalese is taking precedence over justice and over facts, and in Edward's case, you know, over this, he's legally not allowed to be executed because of his cognitive capacity, and what I was thinking about was this film, The Devil's Advocate, with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves. And in that film, they used the law to let evil people free. And this procedural thing, to me, it's like this technicality of the law is getting in the way of truth and justice and life. And that woman in the convenience store, you know, looking back, I wish they said, you know, the death penalty isn't just about those condemned for murder and what they did. It's about us. We as a people, we're you know, allowing this to happen. And as I see more of this nitpicky procedural stuff taking precedence over the merits of the case, especially Edwards, I'm just thinking, like, can we change the law about how that works? I don't know. I'm so frustrated and heartbroken about that this nation that we say, where we have rule of law and democracy, when the rule of law is supposed to uphold justice, and it fails us like this. And I'm just pondering what we can do, and that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Thad. And Brianna's here all the way from Toronto. So we're welcome. We're grateful that you're willing to come and share with us a little bit about your work and what brings you here today, and maybe you can lead us in some prayer as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Hi, Brianne.
Hi, Allie.
Been a while. I hope you're doing all right.
Yeah, you?
Yeah, doing all right.
Yeah. So, the first lethal injection of the United States happened in December 1982. I was born December 1982, which means that Texas has executed 600 people in exactly my lifetime. I'm here from Toronto. I'm not an American. The last executions that happened in Canada were in 1962, a double hanging. One of those ended in decapitation, and that certainly helped shift public opinion. But in the time since then, more than half of Canadians, if you poll them, are in favor of some form of capital punishment, even though we don't have it because we are not as populist a country yet. But what we're seeing is the influence of American politics, of Christian nationalism, that this is seeping north into the border. And that's really frightening. It's really, really frightening. And almost 2 years ago, I was spiritual advisor to Ramiro Gonzalez. Ali knows Ramiro. Perhaps many of you know Ramiro too. He was a remarkable human being. He was a lovely person. He wasn't always a lovely person, and he did some horrific things. But the way that he was able to change his life around to one of service and good is a profound testament to the ability of anybody to change when they're out of the toxic environments that shape them. And in what I wish that people understood what people of Texas are asking their employees to be doing right now. Because whether they agree with it or not, the people of Texas are asking their people, their employees, to kill another human being. And there is no way to do that without there being any cost involved. And 2 years ago, I remember being outside waiting to enter the execution chamber, and the guards just kind of talking like it was any other Wednesday about vacation plans, about breast milk. And at one point, one of them looked at me and said, we don't enjoy doing this. This isn't fun for us. And I said, I understand you don't enjoy doing this, but do you ever wish you didn't have to? And her response was, I don't really think about it. This is just the way that I put a roof over my kid's head and food on the table. And I think until folks can possibly not have an opinion and think about it, which is than being in favor of the death penalty, to not have an opinion, because I don't know how one can not have an opinion, but until that starts to shift through stories, it's not going to be through stats, but through stories, I don't see how anything is going to shift. But I hope that it does, because if it doesn't, I'm worried what's going to happen in my own country, and that's where my focus is right now, is in Canada, and making sure that never happens. So I would love to share with you the prayer that I offered in the execution chamber at Ramiro's execution. Ramiro was friends with Edward Busby. They were both part of the faith-based unit. It's called a Kyrie eleison. It's Greek, and it means God have mercy. So God have mercy for everyone who is present here, for the victims' families, for Mr. Busby, for the warden, for the executioners, for the witnesses, for everyone who's participating in this, the theatrical ritual that is an execution. The word liturgy literally means the work of the people. And so the liturgy that is playing out in the execution chamber right now is on behalf of the people of Texas. So let us pray. Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison. Amen.
Thank you so much, Brianne, for being here and for bringing us that message. We're so grateful to you and to everybody that is engaged on this. I'm just in the middle of sending a note to David Dow and Jeff, the the attorneys in the case to see if there's anything more that's filing, because nothing seems to be happening out here. And we wonder, maybe they filed something else. I don't know. So we're trying to find out about that. But Ali, this might be an opportunity for us to take a little break and share some music. And let's keep everybody in our thoughts and prayers as we continue to stand vigil here outside the prison here in Huntsville. You can see a few more people have arrived, and we're just waiting to see how this comes down tonight, or when, because the state of Texas seems to want to get its way. We'll be back.
Said goodbye, turned around, and you were gone, gone, gone. Faded into the setting sun, slipped away. Oh, but I won't cry, 'cause I know I'll never be lonely. You are the stars to me. You are the light I follow. I'll see you again. Oh, this is not where it ends. I will carry you with me. Oh, till I see you again. I can hear those echoes in the wind at night, calling me back in time, right back to you. Oh, in a place far away where the water meets the sky. The thought of it makes me smile, 'cause you are my tomorrow, and I'll see you again. Oh, this is not where it ends. I will carry you with me. Oh, till I see you again. Sometimes I feel my heart is breaking, but I'll stay strong and I'll hold on, 'cause I know, yeah, 'cause I know, well, yeah, 'cause I know I will see you again. Oh, this is not where it ends. I will carry you with me. Oh, I will see you again. Oh, this is not where it ends. I will carry you with me. Oh, I will see you again. This is not where it ends. I will carry you with me. Oh, till I see you again. Said goodbye, turned around, and you were gone. Oh, where is this justice? Where's the justice we need? Tell me, where is this justice we all want to see? And when I I marched in the street. I began to see. I saw that the justice we need is the justice that needs me. And tell me, where is the healing? Where's the healing we need? Tell me, where is this healing we all want to see? And when I turn on my TV, I still see so much dis-ease. I see that the healing we need is the healing that needs me. Tell me, where is the peace that, where is the peace that we need? Oh, please, where is the peace that we all want to see? So I phoned an old friend. I said, I am sorry for the grief. I know that the peace that we need, and I know that the healing we need, and I see that the justice we need is the justice that needs me and you and me and you and me and you and me.
Oh, I
Do
didn't
you have an
realize I was
update
back.
for us?
I don't have an update for us. I've sent a note to Eddie's lawyers. I presume they may be in here or maybe scrambling to do something. We'll see if they write me back. But we just see groups of law enforcement out here, and it's sort of a puzzle as to what the wait is. My presumption is that they may be waiting for some people that didn't think this was going to happen but wanted to be here or needed to be here. I don't know. So, we'll just take what we can see is people standing around waiting. And that's what we know. So, let's see if anybody has written me back yet. No. Okay. So a motion was filed in the Fifth Circuit immediately upon receiving the Supreme Court's order. It's already been denied. There's nothing more to do. I do not believe the Bureau of Pardons and Paroles has yet voted on the clemency petition. I've alerted the AG to this. I've also alerted the Bureau of Prisons, the Board of Pardons and Paroles about the Supreme Court's order. So that is from Jeff Newberry, one of Eddie's attorneys. So there is no more legal avenues to pursue. There is only the question of clemency. This is going to be the 600th execution, and clemency has been recommended 5 times in these 600 cases. So we can't really expect that unless somehow Governor Abbott has grown a spine and a heart, which we don't think has happened. So as a result, they're probably just going through some motions to get that formal vote to, if they even need it. Who knows if they actually need it to carry this out. But ultimately, something's going on. They're getting their ready. They're making their preparations, and as soon as we see some sort of development here, we'll let you all know. So, let's continue to hear some prayerful music from Brandon, or otherwise we have a whole collection that we've gathered over some of the these years that we've been doing this. There have been some vigils that have gone on nearly to midnight while we waited for the courts to sort things out. On the rare occasion, the executions have been halted, but tonight I'm afraid that this one may be going forward. So I want to invite folks that are in the audience here in the Zoom to put your thoughts and prayers in the chat. If there's something that you would like us to try to address, we will. We're grateful that you're all here, and we're going to continue to stand vigil as we do outside the Walls unit here in Huntsville.
Losing my discretion, I'm tired of this fight. Life is fragile, life is fragile. I venerate the temple, then I say goodbye. Life is fragile, life is fragile. But you are not random, you are loved. The matter is corrupted, yeah, the argument seems lost. Life is fragile, life is fragile. Fools like us keep reaching for the bottom of the cross. Life is fragile, life is fragile. But you are not random. No, you are not random. No, you are not meaningless, not lost, not gone forever. No, you are not random. You matter. You are loved. You are loved. You are loved, you are loved.
A number of years ago, I sat down with a gentleman by the name of Juan Garcia.
You look at me right in the eye. Do you think that I'm gonna die? You hope I'll say, no, not today. But the answer is cold. You won't grow old, and I do not know how you feel. All that I know is that this moment is real. I do not know how you feel. All that I know is that this moment me to find salvation. It's that forever love invitation, and I do not know how you feel. All that I know is that this moment is real. I do not know how you feel. All that I know is that this moment is real. Then I choose love, is what he said, to lose all this shit before I am dead. You question what judgment is like. God is love, there'll be no fight. And I do not know how you feel. All that I know is that this moment is real. I do not know how you feel. All that I know is that this moment is real. And I speak of love that I believe, love that goes further than we could ever conceive. I say goodbye, and I felt so small. You're gonna die, the agony of it all. Oh, I do not know how you feel. All that I know is that this moment is real. I do not know how you feel. All that I know is that this moment is real. All that I know is that this moment is real. All that I know is that this moment is real. I call a friend, say it's not the end. Love will bring us together again. I call you friend, say it's not the end. Love will bring us together again. I call you friend, it's not the end. Love will bring us together again.
Walk with me, Lord, walk with me. Walk with me, Lord, walk with me. While I'm on this tedious journey, I want Jesus to walk with me.
Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me. Walk with me. Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me. Walk with me. While I'm on this tedious journey, I want Jesus to walk with me. Be my friend. Be my friend. Be my friend. Lord, be my
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. See, I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to feel, and grace my fears relieve. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Oh, the Lord hath promised good to me. His word my hope secures. He will my shield and my portion be, as long as this life endures. And when we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, oh, but now I see. Oh, I once was lost, but now I am found. I was blind, but now I see.
It was a late night in a crowd. Somebody yelled out, "Get on the ground." Mr. Lawman, I done nothing wrong. But on deaf ears fell my song. Someday, someday, we're gonna tumble those walls. Someday, we march and pray. Nobody will walk that hall. Judge and jury, my biggest fear, put me inside for 20 years. And the guard said, "You're walking dead." Up high, I hold my head. Someday, someday, we're We're gonna tumble those walls. Someday we march and pray. Nobody will walk that hall. When the angels come down and the tables turn around, the sky will be as blue as it could be. The day they set me free. Someday, someday, we're gonna tumble those walls. Someday we march and pray. Nobody will walk that hall. Someday, someday, we're gonna tumble those walls. Someday we march and pray. Nobody will walk that hall. Nobody's gonna walk that hall. Nobody will walk that hall.
Tell me, where is this justice? Where is the justice we need? Oh, please, where is this justice we all want to see? And when I marched in the street, I began to see, I saw that the justice we need is the justice that needs me. Tell me, where is the healing? Where is the healing we need? Oh, please, where is the healing? I know we all want to see. And when I turn on my TV, I still see so much dis-ease. I see that the healing we need is the healing that needs me. Tell me, where is the peace that, where's the peace that we need? Oh, please, where is the peace that we all want to see? And so I phoned an old friend. I said, I'm sorry for the grief. And so I I took a stand. I said there's a change that we need, and I see that the justice we need is the justice that needs me.
Allie. Well, I just got an email from the attorneys that we've now lost the recommendation from the Board of Pardons and Parole, so that formality has been completed and there is nothing left to stand in the way of this execution. So as you can see, we are watching here outside the prison for the witnesses to cross. So that was just a few minutes ago that we heard from the attorneys in the case, and so I imagine things we'll start to see some motion here in a moment or two. It's normally this is about the time that these execution vigils slow down or that the execution is complete, and now what I'm just watching to see if there's anything that tells us what's happening in terms of the motion, but that's our situation. So I appreciate everybody that's standing by. We're going to continue to stand by and pay attention. And I think what we'll do is actually, when we see the witnesses going, we will toll the bell so they can know that the bell is tolling for them too. And that won't be our formal tolling, but it'll be like a warning to them as they cross. So actually, Gary, I want to invite you to go and get maybe Thad can help you. Let's set the bell up right on the corner over there so that we can all.
What corner?
Right on the street corner there. So anyway, we'll keep watching to see what happens here, and but that's the situation. Is there has been now a complete denial of due process in terms of giving. I mean, if you haven't read the clemency hearing, the clemency petition, we've linked to it from Death Penalty Action's petition for Edward Busby. There's a link to a folder where you can read the clemency petition. Here comes a guard with a thumbs up. Jesus. There's a clemency petition that's linked from our petition. You can link to that folder and go and read the clemency petition. It's not even all that long, but it basically spells out the injustice that took place in terms of the refusal of the judge to even. Basically, what happened is the defense expert witness on the question of intellectual disability basically found that Edward Busby is too intellectually disabled to execute. And the Texas prosecutors' expert witness agreed with the defense's expert witness. So then the judge called a hearing and said, let's talk about this, but you don't need to bring your expert witnesses. And then what they did was the judge basically said, we're going to go ahead and kill him anyway. And that's what the appeals have been all about. It's not a question of can we look at the merits of the argument. It's just, is this due process? So that's where it's at. And like I said, we're watching to see there's corrections officers are gathering over here on the corner, and behind them you can see like the guy in the purple shirt, that's Gary, and just above where he's at you can see some other officers just in there, and I guess we're waiting to watch them cross. And like I said, when we see them crossing, we're going to toll that bell at them, so they're aware that we're watching. And Allie, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick before anybody starts crossing, we did have a question about how witnesses are chosen or assigned. I know it's a little bit different in every state, but
That I am not aware of in terms of Texas. I presume that the person being killed gets to choose. Obviously, the victim's family has the choice to be present, and then the attorney general would assign some people. Perhaps this is me just thinking out loud based on what we've seen in other places, and presumably the defense would also be able. I don't think that. I don't know if David Dow or Jeffrey Newberry is here, although Jeffrey's been very responsive on email, so I imagine he's at his desk. So maybe David is here with Edward. I don't know. Maybe his spiritual advisor is here. I'm not sure who that is, but we'll find out at some point what is going on. I'm getting a text here from Brandy in Louisiana saying that Texas is doing what Louisiana is about to start doing. And by the way, on this question of intellectual disability, we just saw the state of Louisiana is passing legislation to make it easier to execute people with intellectual disability. And now the Supreme Court is clearly smoothing that pathway. Gary, what are your thoughts?
I think the governor has intellectual disabilities.
You want to say that again?
I think the governor has intellectual disabilities.
Well, there you have it. Gary had posted a picture the other day of the back end of a horse, and he said the governor's here. They say you run into a horse's ass at the state legislature, and there he was. Sorry, Allie.
yeah, I don't know if she's still with us. Nicole was with us earlier, and I just wanted to see if Nicole maybe wanted to come on and share her thoughts with us. I know that this is an issue that's very important to her and that she helps us with discussing. So if you're still here, Nicole, you're welcome to come on.
And Gabby has put in the chat there, the prisoner can name up to 5 of his family and friends. Victim's family is allowed to name 5 too, 5 media witnesses. Thank you, Gabby.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. There will be peace on earth, Brandon, when we.
Good morning, or
I Dreams don't come easy in a narrow place like this. Only when my body is sick do my eyes finally rest. But when they close, the dreaming comes alive. And every face I love is by my side. And the dreams don't stop coming. No, the dreams don't stop coming. Be inspired, still be inspired, still be inspired. This is where God speaks clearest to me now. Where I'm corrected and where I'm taught to grow. Where I'm equipped to walk a further mile. Put my best foot forward all the while. And the dreams don't stop coming. No, the dreams don't stop coming. Be inspired, still be inspired, still be inspired. A poet asked us long ago, what happens to a dream deferred? For some of us, this place will be our end. But still the dreaming comes again. And the dreams don't stop coming. No, the dreams don't stop coming. Oh, the dreams don't stop coming. Oh, the dreams, they don't stop coming. So be inspired, still be inspired, still be inspired, still be inspired, still we will carry on, we will carry on, be inspired, still be inspired.
Hey, Jeff. We just learned a few minutes ago that the Board of Pardons and Paroles has denied clemency, so there was a last-minute filing at the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, which was denied immediately. So it's over, and we're just waiting for the witnesses to cross.
Out of curiosity, why such a late filing to the Board of Pardons and Parole?
Oh no, the Board of Pardons and Paroles filing was, they just hadn't made their decision.
Okay.
Yeah, that was certainly filed well in advance. Our petitions were sent to them well in advance. I think that normally the Board of Pardons and Paroles issues its rulings on the Monday, the week of the execution, after allegedly meeting on the Friday prior to.
And so I guess this
is my
one was
understanding of it.
this was just late.
Well, no, they just had never finalized their decision, is my understanding. So once the Supreme Court denied, or rather vacated the stay, then there was another immediate filing by the attorneys to the Fifth Circuit, which was immediately denied. And that left it up to the Board of Pardons and Paroles, which they just completed that. And so now it's just a question of when, I guess, all the right people are here so they can move it forward. So that's what we know.
Yeah, it's definitely disturbing to consider how low the bar now is for intellectual disability. I mean, what does somebody have to have an IQ of 50 for it to actually be effective? Their claims to be effective?
Well, that's the argument with this case and with the Ham case was when you have multiple IQ tests and other analysis that's on the border. And that's one of the problems, of course, that we all know with the Atkins decision, was that they said you can't actually execute the intellectually disabled, but they didn't set a standard. So it seems as if you're reaching into the mid-70s, then it's not going to be enough. Clearly, the people that have gotten relief recently have been the people that had, IQs in the 60s. So we're going to see where it goes. And that is the...
I mean, it feels like, I've worked with most of these guys long enough to know that very hard to tell the difference between 75 and 69.
One would think.
Very difficult to tell the difference. I mean, and once you get, it's almost like I feel like once you get down past, I'm shooting from the hip here, but 76, 77, 75, 74, it starts to look the same in terms of just disability. But I had something I was thinking about. I wrote a piece about Busby and just talking about how much compassion we have on those who are intellectually disabled. We don't have the same amount of compassion for those who are economically disabled or situationally disabled. It presents a very interesting question as to what disability counts with regards to executions, and what do we as a society value? It's very clear that the Supreme Court today placed a value on intellectual disability, but they've been placing value on all sorts of other disabilities and inabilities the entire time. And so I think this is a symptom of the disease, the wider disease of just ignoring any sort of mitigating evidence whatsoever.
It would seem so.
I just wonder.
Here they go. Here go the witnesses.
Okay.
I'll apologize. I got my pinning and spotlighting all mixed up, so I'm not sure what we saw as I tried to figure out these cameras. But in any case, yeah, a handful of people crossed the street, went into the prison. It is 7:10 p.m. Central Time. With that, we have a period of time to reflect and be together with each other. And I want to take a moment, since we've had a lot of chat here, to sadly remember our friend Magdaleno, who has been a regular on these programs for as long as we've been doing them. Magdaleno Rose Avila died last Thursday, and after a few weeks in the hospital. And he was with us in several vigils earlier this year, and I want to just share some of his wisdom with us for a little while in memory of him. And there'll be more information about services for him and that sort of thing coming up, but let's just take a moment to remember Magdaleno and hear the wisdom of his calls to action, which are entirely pertinent to tonight.
I'm trying to work my magic over here. Let me just say, I'm here in Mexico, as many of you know, and we lose lives every day on the border. But I want to say something about a group of our friends who are the spiritual advisors to these death row inmates and to their families. It's an incredible job. They take on a weight more than 16 tons, and I don't know how they handle it. I've seen a lot of my friends die in the streets and revolutions in Central America. I held one woman's head after an auto accident. She died in my arms in El Salvador. Death is not easy. But I think our spiritual advisors, like Jeff and others, they have an enormous task of how to reach the heart of these individuals. And many of them who have repented are not the same persons who committed the crime, and able to hold them together as they go through one of the most demeaning processes in American government, in American judicial system. Long before they get to death row, the judicial system has tried to break down black, brown, and poor whites and people who have no money so that they can have sacrificial murders without ever talking about resolving the issues. And I think what the sister was talking about earlier, we need to start counseling. People need counseling. Even people like me, Abe, and others, Ali. You know, I go through depression. I go through times when my life is not worth it, and I don't know what to do, and we need counseling. We all need spiritual advisors to lean on. Now, I was thinking about a book I read in college by J.D. Salinger called Catcher in the Rye, where these young men and women are running to the end of the rye field. And if you don't catch them, they're going to fall over the edge. And if you catch them, they're going to get into all this foul language and foul situations. Sometimes I feel like me and some others are out there and catching in the rye, and we say, despite all the pressure the tsunami of hate, the tsunami of violence that's trying to push you over. We want to save you. May not be able to keep you from dying, but we want you to know that you're not alone, that you're loved. And we want the victims' families to know that we want to save them, because the violence that is done to the supposed perpetrator lies on all of his family and on the victim's family. You don't get rid of it right away. It's hard. They need counseling. That's why I think for us, state doesn't pay us, but our friends we're spiritual advisors. Those of you who write to the inmates, talk to them on legal matters, social matters, family matters. We just got to remember that victims' families are still alive. The death row inmates' families are still alive, and reach out to them. I don't know how we do it, with cards or something, or a phone call. But I know when I was under those situations, and like Guatemala, when I saw more than 30 dead bodies, most of them students and indigenous Indians, how I cried. The military guy says, "Why are you crying?" I said, "Because all these people are dead, and when you smell burnt flesh." And he said, "But they were communists." I said, "I don't care if they were from the moon. Human life has a value, and we have no right to take it." So for all of you who connect with the prisoners, in particular as spiritual advisors, get in there deep, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being the catcher in the rye. Gracias.
Magdalena, just so people know, Jeff is giving you a salute, so you served as the Peace Corps director in Guatemala, and I think it was Honduras, is that right?
Nicaragua, and just so you know, the guy who's out there catching them in the book is Holden Caulfield. So Jeff's our Holden Caulfield. He's not only trying to catch them, but by coming on these talks, and the other reverends and ministers and prayer folks, they're also catching us so we don't fall apart. Amen. We need support. People need support. Otherwise, it just keeps multiplying. And I was a Peace Corps director in there, Paraguay, Micronesia, but the most violence I saw is in Salvador and Nicaragua and Guatemala. In Nicaragua, you come out of a grocery store, there's bodies on the streets. But thank God we have people.
In the 1980s. I was just clarifying the time frame. That was in the 1980s, correct?
Yeah, I had a full head of hair, Abe.
Okay, well.
I don't anymore.
Well, we're grateful that you're with us, and I know even though you're a bit of a heretic, if you want to lead us in a little prayer here, and maybe also greet us in Spanish for a moment, I would welcome that.
Okay, I'll do both. Primero en español, first in Spanish. Mira, nosotros tenemos en esta sociedad, en nuestro sistema legal, judicial, hay muchos errores y mucha presión que le ponen a la gente pobre, especialmente la gente como que tienen color de piel o un lenguaje diferente. Y nosotros tenemos que buscar, no cómo ejecutar personas, pero cómo salvar vidas, porque salvando vidas, salvamos a nosotros. Remember, when we save a life, we're really saving ourselves. I'm here on indigenous land in Yaqui Nation in Sonora, Mexico. So I want to talk to my spiritual fathers, for Father Sky, the wind, the rain, and send our spirits and our cleansing from our sage in the four directions, so that people, no matter where they are and no matter how they believe, that they know that we care about them. We care about them even when they hate us and call us names. We care about them because they're humans. And we care about the victims' families, because we know how it is to have an empty chair. My Creator, I want you to look after all of us. Believers, non-believers, families, Blacks and Native Americans, we got it all. We all pray and worship different, but we know that if we hold hands and we hold tight enough, we can make a difference. Amen.
know, that was more right for the moment than I thought it would be. I've shifted my location here because I got to plug this computer in. But we are, again, right out here outside the prison. You can see the walls unit back there. And we're going to go toll that bell in a few minutes, but just need to come and get this computer plugged in so we don't lose the whole thing. Alan, maybe another song for a moment, and then we'll be tolling the bell in a few minutes.
Why should I feel discouraged? Why should the shadows come? And why should my heart be lonely and long for heaven and home? When Jesus is my portion, my constant friend is He. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. Let not your heart be troubled. His tender word I hear, and resting on His goodness, I lose my doubts and fears. Though by the path He leadeth me, but one step I may see, His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. His eye is
Witnesses are actually going in now.
He watches. Mike.
Let it go. Gotta let it go. executed because they were convicted under the wrong parties, which needs to be abolished.
It's where the barbed wire, right where the barbed wire ends. She's like sitting there.
Oh, I see it now.
You see it?
Yeah. I was cutting it. That was so funny.
What if it like falls off?
That would be so sad.
And then it's really scary.
So scary.
Another guy. It's there. It's real scary. Yeah, I mean, he's in 15.
Walk with me, oh Lord, walk with me. 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 While I'm on this tedious journey, I need Jesus to walk with me. Be my friend, oh Lord, be my friend, oh Lord, be my friend. While I'm on this journey, I need you, Jesus, to be my friend. Don't leave me, don't leave. I need you, Jesus, to walk with me. And while I'm on this pilgrim journey, be my friend. Oh, walk with me. Be my friend, oh Lord, walk with me. And be my friend, oh Lord, walk with me.
Shalom Aleichem, peace unto you. If you're watching this video, it means that another state-sponsored killing, a second one of the day, is scheduled on this day in the United States of America. This one in Texas, the 600th lethal injection of the modern era in Texas, a legacy carried out initially in this world by the Nazis, who implemented lethal injection first. My name is Cantor Michael Zusman. I'm the co-founder of L'Chaim, Jews Against the Death Penalty, which is a project of death penalty action, representing people and members from across the world. We stand against state-sponsored killings, and always with the victims of individuals who murder and of states who murder. And now we turn our attention to our longtime pen pal, Edward Busby. I'm going to offer a prayer from my tradition that asks, it's from the Judeo-Christian tradition actually, Psalm 23, that invokes the valley of the shadow of death, into which Texas is placing Edward right now. I ask you, no matter your background, faith, secular, spiritual, religious, turn your energy to Edward now, in this moment. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai achsar binot deshayon bitzeni al mei menuchot yenach aleini nafshi yeshovev Yanacheni v'magalei tzedek Yanacheni v'magalei tzedek Leman shemo Gam ki elech begetz al mavet Lo ira rak yata imadi שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני תערוך לפני שולחן נגד סודותי דשנת בשמן ראשי כוסי רוויה טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי כל ימי חיי ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים אדוני ראוי לא אחסר אדוני ראוי לא אחסר
I'm going to share a reading from John chapter 8. Then each of them went home, and while Jesus went to the Mount of Olives, early in the morning, he came again to the temple. All the people came to him, and he sat down and he began to teach them. The scribes and the Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in adultery, and making her stand before all of them, they said to him, "Teacher, this woman has been caught in the very act of committing adultery. Now, in the law of Moses, this woman is supposed to be stoned. What do you say?" They said this to test him, so that they might have some charge to bring against him. Jesus bent down and wrote with his finger on the ground. When they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and said to them, "Let the one among you who is without sin be the first to cast a stone. Let the one who is without sin among you be the first to cast a stone." And once again he bent down and wrote on the ground. When they heard it, they all began to walk away, one by one, beginning with the elders. And Jesus was left alone with the woman standing before him. Jesus straightened up and said to her, "Woman, where are your accusers? Has no one come to condemn you?" She said, "No one, sir." And Jesus said, "Nor do I. Go and sin no more." Let the one who is without sin cast the first stone. Let the one who is without sin cast the first stone. Let the one who is without sin put on the nitrogen mask. Let the one who is without sin insert the needle. Let the one who is without sin Hang up the rope. Let the one who is without sin pull the trigger of the gun. Let the one who is without sin sit at home and do nothing. Let the one who is without sin cast the first stone. This is a reading from the Revelation of St. John, chapter 21. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. And I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, "See, the home of God is amongst people. He will dwell with people. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them. And God will wipe every tear from their eyes, for death will be no more. Mourning and crying and pain, they will be no more, for the first things have passed away." And God, who is seated on the throne, declared, "See, I am making all things new." Then he said, "It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To the thirsty, I will give water as a gift from the spring of the water of life. Those who conquer will inherit these things, and I will be their God, and they will be my children." Amen. A reading from the first letter of Paul to the church at Corinth. If I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have all prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give away all of my possessions, and if I hand my body over to be burned, I might boast. But if I do not have love, I am nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. But as for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end. For we know only in part, and we prophesy only in part. But when the complete comes, the partial will come to an end. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child does. But when I became an adult, I put away childish things. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then we will see fully. We will come face to face. Now I know only in part, then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. And now faith, hope, and love remain. But the greatest of these is love. A reading from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 31. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, then he will sit on the throne of his glory. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate people one from another as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will put the sheep at his right hand, and he will put the goats on his left hand. Then the king will say to those at his right, "Come, you that are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me in. I was naked, and you gave me clothing. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me." Then the righteous will answer, "Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry and gave you food, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? And when was it that we saw you a stranger and welcomed you, or naked and gave you clothing? And when was it that we saw you sick or in prison and visited you?" And God will answer them, "Truly I tell you, just as you did it to one of the least of these, you did it unto me." Then he will say to those on his left, "You that are accursed, depart from me, for I never knew you, because I was hungry and you gave me no food. I was thirsty and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger and you did not welcome me in. I was naked and you did not give me clothing. I was sick and in prison and you did not visit me. Then they will answer, God, when was it that we saw you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison and did not take care of you? Then God will answer them, truly I tell you, just as you did not do it for one of the least of these, you did not do it for me. And these will go away, but the righteous will enter into eternal life. A reading from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3. For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pick up that which has been planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to throw away stones, and a time to gather stones. A time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to seek, and a time to lose. A time to keep, and a time to throw away. A time to tear, and a time to sow. A time to keep silence, and a time to speak. A time to love, and a time to hate. A time for war, and a time for peace. What gain have the workers from their toil? I have seen the business that God has given to everyone to be busy. He has made everything suitable in its own time. Moreover, he has put a sense of past and future into their minds, yet they cannot find out what God has done from beginning to end. I know that there is nothing better than for them to be happy and enjoy themselves as long as they live. Moreover, it is God's gift that all should eat and drink and take pleasure in their toil. A reading from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up to the mountain, and after he sat down, his disciples came to him. Then he began to speak and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. You are the salt of the earth, but if salt has lost its taste, how can it be salty again? It is no longer good for anything, but is thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world, a city on a hill that cannot be hidden. No one, after lighting a lamp, puts it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to the entire house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to God in heaven. A reading from the Holy Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9. Pray then in this way: Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Mm-hmm. 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 A reading from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 20. The kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire laborers for his vineyard. After agreeing with the laborers for the usual daily wage, he sent them into his vineyard. When he went out about 9 o'clock, he saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and he said to them, You also go into the vineyard, and I will pay you whatever is right. So they went. When he went out again about noon, and about 3 o'clock, he did the same. And about 5 o'clock, he went out and found others standing around. And he said to them, Why are you standing here idle all day? They said to him, Because no one has hired us. He said to them, You also go into my vineyard. When evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to his manager, Call the laborers and give them their pay, beginning with the last and then going to the first. When those hired at about 5 o'clock came, each of them received the usual daily wage. Now, when the first came, they thought they would receive more, but each of them also received the usual daily wage. And when they received it, they grumbled against the landowner, saying, "These last worked only 1 hour, and you have made them equal to us, who have borne the burden of the day in the scorching heat." But he replied to them, "Friend, I am doing you no wrong. Did you not agree with me for the usual daily wage? Take what belongs to you and go. I choose to give to this last the same as I have given to you. Am I not allowed to do what I choose with what belongs to me? Are you so envious because I am generous?" So the last will be first, and the first will be last. The last will be first, and the first will be last. The last will be first, and the first will be last.
That is Thank you all for holding vigil with us tonight. 600 executions. We got 3 more next week. Arizona, Florida, and maybe Tennessee. A Tennessee one should be stopped. Absolutely. There's real DNA to test, fingerprints to test. Take the actions that are being recommended by the various organizations. We'll be sending ours out. Keep the faith. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Real quick, because you mentioned Tennessee before I shut this thing off, I was just going through the Richard Knight case narrative last night to update our petition. And while Richard Knight doesn't have a formal innocence claim, there is DNA and there is forensic evidence that does not point to Richard that was found on the murder weapon, and they don't know who it belongs to. It's just not Richard. So I did just want to flag that real quick, as Abe was flagging Tony Carruthers' case. But thank you all for being with us this evening. I know it was a long evening, a difficult evening. It's been a difficult day. But get some rest this weekend, and unfortunately, we will be